generally. And that is, it is the preferred tool for drug dealers, for human traffickers, for robo gangs, the ransomware gangs, and for North Korea, for Iran. And that is why just this week, I introduced with Senator Marshall out of Kansas an anti-money laundering bill that would, in fact, put the same kind of constraints on crypto exchanges that are already there for banks, for brokerage houses, for Western Union. I want to see what people are going to do going forward.
You already know what time it is. Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypt in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Renner sent me to show you the way. Crypt in the morning. 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 Crypt in the morning.
Yo, what's good, bro? Elizabeth Warren, man, I don't think she realizes like that. And I got a nasty comment on this the other day, but I don't think Elizabeth Warren realizes how much terrorism and illicit activity is done in USD.
You don't think she knows? She might not know, dude. You might be right. She might just be like, you know how your mom sometimes pretends like bad things don't happen because she don't want to hear about it? My mom does that sometimes. Like something bad happens, it's just like, you don't talk about that because that's scary. And I'm like, well, I'll go talk to Sam about it then. Right? Like, so I actually asked Jack about this yesterday, and he thinks she believes every word she is saying. But that's exactly. That's the whole point, is that she believes it. But that's important when you're listening. Let's listen one more time, guys. Just remember, nobody uses. I've done drugs before. I've also done illegal things in my life before. Never once have I thought for one goddamn second, let me whip the crypto out. Let me get that crypto out, because that'll be so efficient for this process. Every ledger that I send connected to that account will be tracked for the rest of history. Thank God, right? To my bank, directly to my bank,
yes,
directly to everything that I own, because I'm already in the matrix to a degree. But if you do everything right, there is still self-sovereignty. But the whole point is that only 1% of people know how to do it. A lot of the times, those are guys just like Richard, a bunch of dudes that get in really early. They get a lot of grasp on the system, and then they take over from there. And that's what they don't like. This is like a power thing, but she's going to frame it just like a normal. Let's listen to it one more time, because when she mentions terrorism, it makes me feel like I would smack her right across the face. Because, dude, terrorism? Okay, first of all, what the hell is terrorism? I thought that was when they flew shit into the buildings and exploded people's faces with bombs. And we do that all over the world. And I got a couple of buddies that contract for the government, and they sell weapons. And every day they go to work and sell as many weapons as they humanly possibly can so they can get that cheddar. Sam, what do you think? What is this just delusions? Okay, here we go.
Well, let's take a look. What is terrorism? According to Google, right? The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. Oh, wait a second. What? It sounds like we're describing the Democrat Party over the entire last 20 fucking years.
right? That's
wait, they actually mentioned violence. So wait, the number one definition of terrorism in the world is violence related. Where do we see violence? Everywhere but the United States of America, frankly. I mean, other than the streets, that's obviously there's violence in the slums and areas. But the United States of America is probably one of the safest places in the world as far as okay, no one's getting exploded here, right? Okay, this is global, right? Crypto's global, right? 24/7, right? How do 24/7 global? People don't think about that enough when they're thinking about all these rules. The internet always wins. There's always a way around it. Sam knows that better than anyone. Bullish knows that better than anyone. If you put in a little elbow grease, you can basically do whatever you want because the rules are the naivete and the nuance between the rules and what people know are so large. That area is so large. Like, has anyone ever done their taxes? Fuck no. Nope. Never. Me too. Never. Didn't even think about it. Would never. Until now, right? Until you do it. And then you're like, oh, wait, I fucked up.
Look at violence, right? So, right, that we looked up terrorism, right? And that's talking about violence, right? The use of violence. Well, behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something, right? Down here for law. The unlawful exercise of physical force or intimidation by the exhibition of such force. What do you remember happening in the last 36 months related to physical force, intimidation, or exhibiting force to control people and or physical violence? We saw this happening illegally across the world, right? We saw this. So the idea.
What was the specifics there? Like, what were people doing again? Like, just rioting and shit?
I don't know. Were you told to wear a mask, a diaper on your face?
I wasn't told. My parents told me, and the narrative told me. But yeah, everyone was wearing the mask.
So, and did they try to use intimidation?
Yes. Oh shit! I remember that now. Now that I think about it, I remember not being able to go to Thanksgiving dinner, and everyone made me feel like a literal terrorist in my family. Frankly, I didn't care too much because I'm about that life. But I was like, wow, what a weird pressure. Like, imagine like my grandmother. Like, oh, I can't see my grandmother. Well, my grandma's chill. So in this case, that's not really the case. But I know a lot of people that grandmas aren't so chill. And so basically they were like, you're a bad person. For a year and a half straight, my family, my father, my mother, everyone around me said I was a bad person. I was a sociopath. I was a narcissist. And like they always, when I do anything that I just would rather do than the other, that is the narrative that gets painted. And I can imagine 99% of guys folding on that. That one's tough. That one is tough.
So let's tie this back into Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren, crypto, bad. Crypto terrorism, right? That's the story she's trying to paint. That's the narrative that she's putting forth to people. And yet, who perpetrated the terrorism? Because that's what it was. We just read the definition of the manipulation and the violence against civilians or globally. Was that because of crypto? Or was it primarily the U.S. who funded it with U.S. dollars? You don't have to be super intelligent to figure this one out, folks. We already understand where the terrorism is actually coming from. It's coming from the establishment. It's coming from primarily one political side, but overall, the whole political system as it is. And it's disgusting. I know some people don't agree with that, and I don't give a shit because that's the truth. What's this? Oh, wait, I can't hear the sound.
You know this guy?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. He's a good
guy. I haven't seen him online in a while. I just looked up Elizabeth Warren evil. First thing that came up. And I'm not going to watch this, but it said he was making fun of her dance moves, clearly, which is hilarious. Ben Shapiro. I don't know much about him. I'm not 100% on him yet because I don't like the way he kind of markets everything to be like crazy, but he's right about a lot. So let's not talk about that though. Let's go back. I played the video right off the jump, and the video has a lot of punch to it. I'm telling you, if you really listen for a second, guys, like listen to this woman, whether it's ignorance or whether she is purely made for devil worship and witchcraft, I don't care. But I need you to listen to the words she's saying on live television if you're in here. So in 5 years, when she's dead and all these rules are in place, you're going to be like, what happened? What was going on? We know exactly what was going on. We were paying attention at the time. It's old news, period. I don't like that whole, like, what was Ethereum merge all about? What was this all about? What was that all about? Like, no, we know what that was all about. We were there. We were paying attention really good. So let's keep it going. We don't want to miss this stuff. This is the stuff a little more boring, goes through the cracks, but sometimes can be the most critical at the end of the day, which is crazy.
Colleagues of yours who've been defensive of crypto interests, like Senator Gillibrand and Congressman Auchincloss from the 4th District here, are among the leading recipients of that money. Do you find that relationship suspect?
More money in politics, particularly from corporate PACs and so on. But for me, what matters is what are we going to do now? Who is going to step up and say it is time to put some constraints on crypto? Something I worry a lot about is how crypto is used generally. And that is, it is the preferred tool for drug dealers, for human traffickers, for robo gangs, the ransomware gangs, and for North Korea, for Iran. And that is why just this week, I introduced with Senator Marshall out of Kansas an anti-money laundering bill that would, in fact, put the same kind of constraints on crypto exchanges that are already there for banks, for brokerage houses, for Western Union. I want to see what people are going to do going forward.
Well, all that money, pardon my cynicism, but appeared to have already bought a fairly decent level of resistance to really tough regulatory reform. Do you think that's over now that the scandal has erupted?
Well, that's why I want to keep the focus there. I want to keep the focus on all this money sloshed around Washington on both sides of the aisle. I want to know who's willing to step up now. I'm stepping up. Senator Marshall is stepping up, bipartisan. Who else is going to join us in putting the kinds of constraints on crypto that makes it not the place where these gangsters go to launder their money?
You didn't get any of this money.
No.
If you had,
Right.
I don't take it in the first place. So I don't have.
Bullshit. I don't believe that.
Oh yeah, wait. Let's crack it open there. Let's crack that open real quick. That's bull. Come on, Sam. What do you?
I don't believe that for a fucking second. Do you believe that? She's $156 million working in the government.
They got a picture of her coming off a private jet.
Correct. And supposedly her net worth is like $100+ million.
Do you know how rich you have to be to roll steady in a private jet? Like you have to be a pretty successful entrepreneur generally. Like I know guys that roll in private jet. Frankly, I do know a couple of those guys. They're rich as shit and they have like 55 businesses. So, and like they're the most successful dudes I know generally. So look at this, Sam. Why don't we just pop this open? Mom, close your eyes. She is on the private jet. Okay, we're not bullshitting. You see her family, they get off the nice private jet here rather than the normal people shit that get paid like 200, 300, even grand a year. Don't go on private jet because that's a little bit too much sometimes. But when you get paid by people to do shit, you become a fucking lying piece of dirt and incentivized. We talk about this on the show all the time. GRC is ending modern journalism along with GPT, because they're all lying paid scum. They're all lying paid scum. And what does lying paid scum do? Regurgitate stupid information that has nothing to do with anything so that they can get paid more. That is it. It's clear as day. It's not really like this ain't even like a conspiracy anymore. Back in the day, they'd be like, oh, Obama would never do such a thing, like.
Elizabeth Warren income jumped to This is from the Boston Globe. Remember, this lady is in Massachusetts, right where Boston is. Okay. Elizabeth Warren, income jumped to 1.3 million last year. This doesn't just come from the government.
What the fuck? Why?
Because it's insider deals, bro. It's 100%.
No, but like, how is that on paper?
Because there's a teeny bit of transparency in terms of like the tax piece of things.
So they actually pay taxes on the money they get paid, and she said she doesn't take any money.
Correct, but she's getting money from many different sources.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, let's just remember, guys, like, listen to the words she's saying. And I frankly remember a lot of those old Hexicans that said like Hex would go up because of this, that, and the other forever. And it was not really true. Maybe they were just more naive than they were malicious. So there is a naivete. Isn't it called cognitive dissonance? Like when you just, like when you just focus on the thing that you have to and your brain warps you. Alcoholics always say, I drank a drink, then the drink drank me, right? Like then you became whatever the slave of whatever it is. In that case, alcohol. In this case, money. I say it all the time. Money ruins men. Reputation is more valuable than money. Connections is more valuable than money. Long term, you need to keep your shit straight, and if you have business plans, you need to execute. But if you don't, like, just don't be tricked by some narrative. Just because Richard's wearing a $20,000 suit, maybe it's a marketing scheme that works, but it's not important and it doesn't change anything. And remember we were popping this up, guys that are changing the game. I think Jack Lev is changing the game. I'm not saying that he's a god. I'm not saying that he's somebody that is absolutely, memeable by any stretch of the imagination. But he's an open-minded dude that likes scaling technology in the first principles in the future of innovation. And he looks up to Elon. And I like that shit. I think that's the wave. I think that's the right wave to be on. I think it's like, this is cool. We're in a good spot. But again, we still have to, luckily we have guys like Kevin O'Leary that tell this girl to her face that she's retarded, even though he has things that we don't like about him. But he did tell her to her face in front of Congress that she was ignorant, like 5 times.
So I've thought about these things, right? With whether it's Elizabeth Warren or the fact that so many people are spewing excuses and complaining and telling themselves that they're hurt little bitches because they're not accomplishing what they want to accomplish in life. And the solution that I can create the most impact with these peasants is that I need to go through and live a much, much larger life than I can that I am at this moment, to inspire and impact more people to do the things that they need to do in their life to accomplish whatever it is that they need to do. Right?
Yeah, we're all doing that now, which is good. We're all on the same page, at least a couple of us. Like teach young dudes what's going on, learn everything so we know, and try to be a level-headed, unbiased news outlet. I'm sure back in the day, this is how news started. Like guys were like, we got to cover this stuff and let people know because it's getting a little fishy out there. And then it gets corrupt. And then technology takes over. It resets. Guys like me, guys like Sam, guys younger than me, guys older than whatever, they're going to take over. Different people. Guys, Jack's not younger than either of us, and he never had a YouTube channel up until 5 weeks ago. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys that can step up, and I think some of them are, because what else are we going to do? They gave us no fucking options. They made alcohol not even able to be purchasable because it's probably too expensive or whatever. Like everything's too expensive anyway. Whatever degen shit people were doing, they don't even have money for it anymore. So like we'll be watching. I don't even have any cable or anything. Like, dude, anyone who becomes self-sovereign, like, it's the first thing to go because you're just a waste of fucking brain. And you can find the game if you really like it once a year on the internet for free. Bullish just streams them all on Discord. Like, it's not. But again, watch what you're watching, because there's some people that woke up this morning with their cup of coffee thinking Elizabeth Warren is saving the day.
Gangsters go to launder their money.
You didn't get any of this money.
Keep the focus there. I want to keep the focus on all this money sloshed around Washington on both sides of the aisle. I want to know who's willing to step up now. I'm stepping up. Senator Marshall is stepping up, bipartisan. Who else is going to join us in putting the kinds of constraints on crypto that makes it not the place where these gangsters go to launder their money?
You didn't get any of this money.
No.
If you had, what would you be doing with it now?
I don't take it in the first place, so I don't have to worry about that problem. And this is just the money in Washington
Auchincloss did
problem.
take it. I just called his office the other day. They still can't give a straight answer about what they're going to do with it. What should he do with it?
Well, stay on it about what he's going to do with the money. But the real question is, what is he going to do going forward? Is this going to be more of defending the industry, or is it going to be the case that it's time to shut down the money laundering operations? It's time to shut down the fraud. And, here's the point I want to make on this one. It's really about, there's a principle in finance, and it is same kind of transaction, same kind of risk, should have the same kind of rules. And that's pretty much true throughout the financial system, except crypto. I just want to see crypto having to follow the same rules as everybody else.
Let's squeeze in another topic before we take our break here. I saw a member of our congressional delegation, Seth Moulton, on TV the other day saying, whatever weapons Ukraine wants from us, we should give them, and we should give them without delay. Do you agree with that?
I agree that we should give assistance to Ukraine. I've been a very strong supporter, but we always have to think about the escalation of the war. And so giving more help on the defensive side.
Like the Patriot missiles.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
On defense,
Well,
it's different from giving offensive weapons.
The people on the left want to fund wars outside of our borders, spending taxpayer dollars. We just watched this play out this with SBF, right? Where money goes in and then it gets funneled back in the back door into people in our government's back pockets. People like Elizabeth Warren, right? I'm not saying she was directly involved, but people like Elizabeth Warren, right? Advocating for war. War is a horrible, horrible thing, right? And it's not even in our borders. Why are we encouraging this? Why are we encouraging this with the additional money when we know Ukraine is an extremely corrupt country? We already know that it's getting bribes with the person who calls himself the president of this country and how disgustingly perverse his family is. Why are we supporting this? Like, why? And it's primarily coming from one party. Like, why?
It's because it's their last way to get the money that they need to with the political jargon. It's like, take your money out of this stuff. Make sure you support this stuff. It's that whole, they're just trying to sway that support. Like, because I know the people that listen to this shit, they believe every word she fucking says. So she's just doing her job. She probably goes to bed thinking, I'm doing the right thing. I need to do this. I need, because that's what witchcraft is all about. Like, you have to convince yourself the witchcraft is real, or then you suffer. So it's like this whole, you got to turn into the person that, what is it that Chad and Marks always say? The image you project is the image you have to protect.
I like that. That's a good saying.
Chad always says that on every episode.
The image you project is the image you need to protect. I like that.
And I tell people that start YouTube for the first time, that's critical when you start YouTube. Not so much when you're better at it and you catch your P's and Q's, but if you're not deadly honest with yourself and everyone, you're going to have clips of you saying a certain amount of things 1.5 million times, and you're going to stick to that. Richard still mentions the price chart. He still mentions the 10,000x. He still mentions all this shit because he has to. He has to protect his image. And we know Richard's image means a lot to him. And that might be the right thing to do, maybe for the price and maybe make everyone better or whatever. But that's what he thinks. But why does he think that? And I don't think that. I don't give a fuck about the price chart right now. I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. I have stakes. I have all this stuff. Yes, if it goes up 100x, yes, I will have way more money. I do not care. It's not important. Elon Musk did not start Tesla for money. I promise. I don't even have to figure it out. I don't have to look it up because it's just the first principles, like the shit, the scaling, the technology. You can tell he put that effort in, that true effort, his part of passion meets work ethic, like where the passion, because anyone could work. Sam could work at a bank. Yeah, but his passion, if he's not passionate, he'll leave the bank because he's like, I'm just churning my wheels here. 5 years down the line, I'm going to be crying myself to sleep. This sucks. So he just escaped it. It's important, but that's what sovereignty and freedom, but being honest is where it shines through, because the people that are honest.
Remind me later on or after this video, I want to share a framework for thinking and a process for improving in your life. A framework for thinking about freedom to use to make decisions, and then a process that you can use to move forward in a systematic way, that if you actually take the discipline and do this, will have a tremendous impact on the freedom in your life and the quality and the largeness to life that you're allowed to live, however you define that. So we're going to get into that a little bit later, because it's really, really powerful. It's something that I'm working on. It's something that I also work on with people that I coach as well. But it's really good. I think you'll like this, bro. And
I'm doing all this stuff right now. I'm going to all the stops. I'm trying my best. I'm telling everyone, I'm trying to be honest with everyone, my family, the people around me. I'm not trying to boast or say I'm in a position I'm not. I'm trying to just keep it all the way real. And it doesn't always flash the followers up to 100,000, but that's probably a good thing sometimes when you're learning, right? Remember I say, the one advice I gave to Alex before he said he was going to start streaming and doing like a daily stream or like a weekly stream is, don't say too much, even if it's your truth. If you're not prepared for the future for what you're saying, you got to like understand that what you're saying does have implications, because a lot of people follow that guy and the way he interprets that information and the way other people interpret that information and that clips and the shares that come off of it. And then remember the projection that you start with, because you're very excited when you start YouTube. The image you have to protect is the image that you initially put on there. So you got to remember, if you get real excited and act like Mr. Johnny Bravo, you're gonna have to start wearing Gucci shit for the rest of your life, because, or whatever, you can obviously change. Anyone can change. But okay. But so here, go ahead. And I can hear you. I am going to use the bathroom really quick. I'm going to just drop myself down for 1 second and let's get into it.
Okay. So this is how I would advocate, or at least open your mind to thinking about this in terms of freedom. This is something that everybody wants. And there's 4 different freedoms, right? Everybody wants more freedom in their life. Everybody wants more freedom. But they're like, freedom of your time, we'll just quit your job. You got lots more freedom, right? So there's this framework you can utilize for making decisions, right? So this is freedom of your time, right? You can quit your job, you got more time, right? But that's not what you want, right? You also have freedom of your money, right? If you have more money, right, then you have financial freedom. Of relationships, right? You want to have those people in your life that support you, but also those people in your life that you provide value to. Those conversations where when you're done with those conversations, you walk away, even though it was an hour or however long it was, and you have more energy because you're excited, right? Why not create more relationships that way? And then the last one is freedom of purpose, right? Creating more freedom in all of these categories, right? So think about this as a framework to use to make decisions, as in when you go through and make a decision, how is this decision going to impact these 4 areas? Are you going to create more freedom with your time? Are you going to create more financial freedom? Are you going to create more relationship freedom? Are you going to create more purpose, right? Freedom of your purpose to do that. Now, the thing that you can implement in a systematic way so you have a process to follow every quarter is something that we have in 3 steps here. So let me just get rid of this and I'll show you. Did you hear this, what I was going over on this?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Just keep going because I'm just looking at a couple of things, but I'm listening.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
I'm just reading and looking at some of that bill while I'm listening.
so here we go. We have this circle, right? And the circle here and the circle here. And this is how you spend your time, where you can think of this as number 3. We'll get into understanding what each one of these categories is, right? So 3, 2, 1, the small circle. Now, this here is 3, is anything that you do, anything that, let me write this out at the same time. So anything that you do, any person that you're around, any situation that you're in that is frustrating, annoying, or irritating, right? That's this outer area here. Frustrating, annoying, or irritating. Write those down. Write down 3 things at least that you have in this category here. And we'll show you what to do with these 3 things. Number 2, these are things that you do, but they're not frustrating or annoying or irritating. You just do them. They're okay to do. It's not like horrible or anything like that. Put down 3 things in this category here, right, that are okay to do. You just do, but they're not like anything crazy. It's not horrible to do. Now, this category, right? This is the area where you get energy. Those things that you like to do that give you energy. So for me, for example, something that might be frustrating or annoying, right, is I don't particularly enjoy talking to people who don't have ambitions or don't want to strive to reach more in life, right? So that might be one of the things that's frustrating or annoying for me.
I can say one.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
It's frustrating and annoying that I have so much stress when I move or go on vacation.
Cool. What's one more?
It's so hard for me to care about money. Sometimes when it comes to like a little, like $200 here, $400 here, $600 here, a lot of the times I just don't pay attention to it for too long and it catches up to me and I get procrastinative anxiety because of it.
Okay. Do you have any, remember this category, frustrating and annoying, this could be people, it could be situations or activities that you do.
Sometimes I want to have sex, but I don't want to interact with a woman or do anything. So I decide just to work because I'm like, this could be too much involvement right now. Is that good? That one's frustrating because I'm like, every time a nice person comes into my life, like I'm like, it's gonna be a tough 2 years for me. Like, is this even worth talking to this person? Should I just back the fuck off? And that's annoying sometimes. Sometimes I wish I could just go all in on life and just say fuck it. And I can. I just
so right. So you have those three things, right? That you had mentioned that might be frustrating or annoying, right? Not really caring enough about money, it sounded like, or taking the things seriously enough to take action on them, or however you want to word that. If you're not at home getting anxiety or stress about like being able to do stuff online, right? And then I forgot what the third one was, right? So you have 3 of those things there. Now, what are 3 things in category 2? These are things that you do, but they're not like horrible to do, but it's just okay. You get those things done. What are 1 or 2 things in that category, right? For me, it's processing payments for my business. It's a manual process. I do it. I collect money. It's shipping products, right? I do that. Cool. It's not bad. It's not good. I do it because it gets money in the door, right? Now, go into the category, the 1. For me, I like talking to people where I can help them expand the vision for their life. But also, I like talking to people that are creating a bigger life for whatever they want to do. And I get to learn and grow through them and collaborating with people like that, right? Those are things that give me energy. Those are things that I enjoy, right? So now you do 3 things for each one of these categories. And this is how you create the system to build a bigger, better future. Now, we have 3 months till the end of March, right? 3.5 months till the end of March. So we'll pick the end of March. Now, over the next 90 days, go through on each one of those categories in number 3 here, right? The things that you don't care to do that are frustrating or annoying or irritating. Write down a solution. What do you need to do to eliminate that from your life? They're hiring somebody else doing something, stopping it completely, whatever you need to do. Write down 3 of those things there. In category 2, what are processes or process or system to eliminate things that you do that are just like, okay, but they're not like, right? You're just process for like me, manual processing. Maybe I can create a system to do that, right? And then what ends up happening is by you eliminating things in category 3, you inevitably have more time in category 1. And then you also pick the things in category 1 that you want to increase, right? In category 1, so you're going to increase those things in category 1. And you do this every single quarter, looking at what you did accomplish and then what you're doing going forward. And you can create a giant snowball effect of living your life in a much, much larger way than you ever thought possible in a very short period of time. Bro, this is a very valuable thing. If somebody,
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But it all comes down to there's only a small amount of people that would even care to listen to what you just said because they haven't even gotten their slate cleared yet. You got to get the fog out of the room before you can implement the tools, right? What do they say about the trees? Like you can't see the forest through the trees or whatever. Like you just can't. You can't. I see people all the time. If I ever you along your journey in life, you find guys, and this has happened to me many times as well, younger days, who get broken up with a beautiful or a woman that they really liked. And then they don't recover for years. Everyone's seen those guys. And they lie and they make these weird nuance loopholes to make themselves feel better until they realize they just need to start talking to chicks and just get back to it. But I've seen it take years because the fog never goes away. They think about, what is she doing? What could she be possibly? Imagine if I thought all day what my ex-girlfriend's doing. That would be a great life. That would be a fucking fantastic life, right? Like, no, I would just think I'm horrible. Like, what the fuck? What a waste of time. What a limp dick thing to do. And Sam, real quick, I want to show you some limp dick stuff. I popped onto Twitter last night just for a second before I went. I forgot. I was watching UFC last night, but let's scroll through here real quick. And I want to show you a couple things here. Well, first of all, we got Lane front and center this morning. 33 minutes ago, day 8, tweeting Richard Hart until he goes on Crypto in the Morning with Jim Rat. Senator Warren has no idea how cryptocurrency works. Richard, we need your take on this. Lane, guys like Lane are the guys I like to talk to. Why? He would probably ask some pretty damn good questions, and he probably works on his own time to figure these things out. If you're not following Lane, then you are not a Chad. Okay, so look at this. We got a guy. Who do we got here? Crypto7. He's got a YouTube channel. Decent. I like watching his show in the morning sometimes, but just let's see what he's tweeting about, right? Well, let's go back here because I just here it is. Can you call yourself a Hex streamer and say you support Zen? No wonder the price of Hex is where it is. I'm starting to lose faith in the community. Never in Richard Hart, never in Hex, never in Pulse Chain. Okay. Well, what the heck did GRC have to say about this? I could care less about any narratives. I'm an investor. This is about the future of innovations. My T-shares work. My Zen mints work. Wrecked. And then I had to give it to him with the sauce. Limpy cock take here. And again, I like to put pressure on these guys in a funny way because their cognitive dissonance just drives them insane. So it's in fun if you're out of the matrix to poke at the matrix and see what happens. Because sometimes glory happens when you poke at men. And then sometimes when you poke at guys, Sam, they make videos like this. Hold on one sec. I saw a video pop up.
Where he's making a video about you?
No. This
Oh.
PulseX and Pulse price predictions at launch. I mean, how, Sam, 1 to 10, are you watching that video all the way through and taking notes?
Oh, there's no fucking chance I'm going to watch any 2 seconds of that video.
Why wouldn't you watch it? Tell me why. From the title.
Because
All you know is the title.
correct, right? And he's like the price prediction or something. First of all,
Pulse and PulseX at launch.
yeah. So like, let's understand what that is, right? It's just somebody's opinion about something that should happen or could happen in the future. Okay, cool. I care about my own opinion. It doesn't, that's such a low priority of thing for me to even give a shit
Low
about.
priority. You just said it. You just said the right word. What if I had a priority list on the wall over here? That would be about 9,850 on the list. So K for K. You know, you're a smart chap, but come on, step it up. I always give K for K the step it up meme because, guys, let's be honest. This is limp cock work. I don't have to listen to it because it's that narrative. Remember, we're playing on a narrative. It's a narrative. It's all just a narrative right now. We're waiting for V3 testnet still, which is chill, but we'll maybe talk about some of the implications of whatever it is. Talk about something that's not going to confuse people, right? That'll confuse the new investor, right? Oh, I don't have any sacrifices. Wait, what is this thing? Is this something that I could never get a better rate on at another time? That's what they're trying to do, Sam. Why? Because there's a lot of people that people message me all the time and say, I didn't get into Pulse. I didn't get into PulseX. I didn't get into this. I'm like, you're fine, dude. Just shut up. Just wait, pay attention and focus. Watch the show. I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream. I'm going to show you exactly why. Richard already told us the valuation was going to start at 0 for tax liability purposes. So we know that to be a fact. We have limit orders. We have all of these things. We need to learn all chain bridge, everything. Even if Gwei is wrecked, there's ways around it. But we're not going to talk about what is PHEX going to be in the future. What is this going to be in the future? What is Richard going to say about his cock? I don't care. I care about technology, and there's guys doing work. There's not just one dude working. You guys are crazy. And then a guy like Jack puts his heart and soul into something and does a really good job. And then it's just, oh, now we want communism. Now we want socialism. Now we want centralization from Richard. It's like you guys are all little sucky poo-poos. And I'm saying that because you got to wake up. You got to wake up and just think for yourself so you can make it out of this mess. And all you got to do is stake hex and fucking move on if that's what you want to do and be a part of that system. Period. That takes 7 fucking seconds. Okay. And then you spend $600, you'll probably make out like a bandit in 2 years. Good for you. Learn now. Everything else.
What do you I feel the biggest thing that people can do who think about that kind of stuff or watch that type of content to the thing that's going to create far bigger impact in their life is not watching content like that, but taking action in their life to make more money. Okay. If you make another $1,000 a month and you start putting that into the market today, you'll be in a way better spot than wasting your time watching garbage like that.
And the garbage leads you down a garbage rabbit hole, Sam. Garbage doesn't just, nobody wants you. If you're falling for so my boy K4K's got a gig out of this, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, remember what we said about Elizabeth Warren. Remember what we said about pre-hex Richard, post-hex Richard, incentive structure, bias, cognitive dissonance. It all comes into play. But as a streamer and a journalist, you should go down the right road instead of fucking yourself over. I'm trying to help you, but because you're living in a fantasy land. Charles Hoskinson goes on with Corey Costa like it's just another day in the park, but Richard just can't stop saying penis. So wake up a little bit. We need some synergy here. And that's why Lane's going hard trying to get Richard on the show, because I want to talk about this stuff. And I have a feeling I'm a pretty good moderator. Like I can step back from it and let other people talk when it's important. You know, like, so I think it would be a fun time. But again, he's going to say, you know what he's going to say? I'm not going to make this kid's career go to the moon by coming on his show. It's like, bro, it's fine, bro. It's not, you're not going to break the internet, bro. But at the same time, like, he has answers.
How long before you have a larger audience on Twitter and or YouTube?
I have no idea. It depends if I start doing all the, well, it just depends how freedom, it depends. Well, if you go to the chats, how do you monitor how good a live stream is? You go to the chat. And I guarantee if you go to K4K's chat, he will have about
I'm not talking about, because that's,
no, I'm just making it, I'm just trying to like measure something real quick. So if you go to K4K's chat, for example, which I don't know, I haven't been there in a while, you'll probably see 300 or 400 live viewers, but about 20% of the chat activity that you see in my right now. And if you go to Richard's, he'll get about 5,000 live viewers, or 2,500 to 5,000, and his chat goes bananas. So Richard has a large audience of people that actually watch him, which is rare. Like, he has a large audience of people that will watch him no matter what. Where, like, Derek More Plates, More Dates, for example, has a large audience, and I might tune in once every 3 weeks for 10 minutes, right? Like, but Richard, if Richard goes live, I want to know what he's going to say, because there's these financial implications to everything he says, and it's fun, you know. It's
so how if you,
I have no idea if I keep doing it every day. I mean, I think it's inevitable. But again, because he has a certain genre that he has to stay in. What if I start doing UFC? What if I start covering sports gambling? Wait, I don't have rules.
correct.
No rules. What if BMBP is the future of sports gambling, and I'm a semi whale, and I never have to pay for gambling again, and I can just sit there and play with the numbers and joke and have millions of subscribers? That there's a realities for a lot of different things.
Or is that,
I think crypto in the morning and the UFC kind of having a thing at some point. Just marketing.
yeah.
It's gonna be so good. Because I know like 7 or 8 fighters that are new and they don't get paid jack, and they're still normal dudes. One of those guys is going to be a superstar. I know it. And they're going to be like, man, I remember GRC. He was giving me fucking crypto advice when I had 2,000 subs and I was rubbing quarters together. 10-year plan. 10-year plan. I'm a very networky, seedy kind of guy, because I know what I'm willing to do on the back end. So I know I'm going to impress everyone on the back end. But I have confidence in myself, which I was really not that way for a long time. It took a lot of work and self-emotional work, no money work, the work that you don't get paid for, looking into the mirror and just being like, bro, are you an excuse for a man? Like that kind of shit that you have to do over a long period of time. Let's wrap it up, but not wrap it up, but kind of wrap it up with this video. This is on the WashingtonExaminer.com. So we don't know much if the source is a good source or not, but I want to watch this video. It's titled, hold on a second.
The pure statistics.
It's titled, Warren introduces bipartisan bill described as biggest threat yet to crypto. So, and I kind of think that's somewhat true-ish. I think it's a fair take, but let's watch what this is all about. This will probably give us a news take and inflation take. It's kind of like a news segment channel that I would watch on occasion.
Inflation slowed to 7.1% this month is a sign that the price pressures that have racked the economy over The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported annual inflation slowed to 7.1% this month, a sign that the price pressures that have racked the economy over the past year are easing. The much anticipated numbers revealed that, while inflation is still high, it is starting to cool in response to the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes. There had been some questions about whether the trend of monthly declines in the all items inflation rate would continue. However, the
Dude, I think if you're not subscribed to the channel and you click on anything else, like I don't have like a login.
report marks 5 straight months.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to play it over one more time and I'm just going to keep it open. When I move it, it turns it off because I'm not a subscriber to the newsletter.
Of declines. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported annual inflation slowed to 7.1% this month, a sign that the price pressures that have racked the economy over the past year are easing. The much anticipated numbers revealed that, while inflation is still high, it is starting to cool in response to the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes. There had been some questions about whether the trend of monthly declines in the all items inflation rate would continue. However, the report marks 5 straight months of declines in annual inflation after the rate peaked at 9.1%. But higher prices are still hitting consumers hard. Energy prices have risen by about 13% just in the past year. People in many places, especially colder New England, are facing the prospect of major bills heating their homes this winter. The Fed has been jacking up interest rates to tame inflation, raising rates though.
Some of us have gas heat, which is nice. But Sam, and you want to let's talk the macro before we wrap up here. And then there's a couple videos and a couple things, like little segments I want to show people from yesterday. And if you have anything you're going to do or shill, I would like to know. I would like you to do that. So let's do quick cause D. Thanks for helping out liquidity providing. I'm going down that rabbit hole and hope the ideas get more traction. Understand that rabbit hole has nothing to do with you spending money. It has to do with you learning in and out. It's not. The cool thing about liquidity providing is there's enough tools now and ETHPOW that you can do it. You can practice without really spending that much money. And then you know your game plan. Like if you Sam knows what he's looking for. He has his radars open for transaction volume, that ratio between liquidity and volume for the US dollar. And then you want to see the number of users, obviously. So he doesn't need to know the asset forever and ever as much as maybe the first time when he did it. He's more fluid with it. Liquidity providing and liquidity, I'm sure it's like this in finance too. It's just a different art. It's just a different game. It's a way to make passive income earning fees, right?
And Cause D, if
your take on that would be great.
If you want to learn more about liquidity providing, I have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel. Should be linked down below if you're watching on GRC's channel. Probably 2 to 3 hours worth of content on liquidity providing. If you want to learn more about that stuff, like the stuff that you'll have to pay somebody else in a group or a course to get is all.
Oh no, they won't even know it. They won't know it.
Yeah,
if they're making a course at this point, I've seen every course. They don't know it. They don't know it. You know it. Richard knows it. Guys that make a lot of money that don't talk on the internet know it. V2 liquidity guys, a lot of them. But when it comes to V3 tight range earning daily yield, come on, Sam. You just can't. They're not going to give it to you straight. They're just not. You know it. You know it, dude. Unless the course cost you $7,000, $10,000, and you knew the source hardcore, I wouldn't even sniff on it. I would just go to guys like me on YouTube that care about the shit. Remember, passion meets. I'm here because I'm passionate about this. Everyone that knows me knows that. Everyone that knows me knows this has nothing to do with money at this moment. Because what the fuck? There's 170 million things I could do other than learning how to crop Sam's face on a Santa Claus. But I know it's a process, right? It's a whole thing. But it's all passion related. I enjoy cropping Sam's face onto the Santa Claus. So it's not you know what I mean? It's not as you got to think like that. If somebody is coming at you, what money have I asked for? And I haven't done that for a reason, because I don't deserve it. and I get a lot from this channel too. So it's like, it's been good. It's been fine, but I'm not going to do a NordVPN right off the jump because they give me $1,000 a month. I'm not going to do, because I want this channel just to be all the way lit. Sam, my computer matches my 401. This is Lane, first of all. I'm pretty sure Lane's in high school.
What's up, Lane?
Pretty sure Lane's in high school or right out of high school. So this is a pretty hardcore question for my boy Lane. Just guys, know the competition here. You got guys like Lane coming out of high school talking about this shit. You're wrecked. You're so wrecked. You're dude, in 10 years, these guys are going to be nuclear missiles. Sam, my company matches my 401k at 4%. And I put my 15% a week into S&P 500 index fund. Is this going to be worth it at 59 and a half? Obviously not financial advice. And I would like to preface this. He is a young man and he knows more than 99% of the people that I've talked to about finance on Twitter.
Leave that question up there for just a second as we get into it. Okay, so Lane's going through. His company matches 4%, and it sounds like he's putting in 15%, and that 15% of his income, his gross income that he's putting in, just goes into an S&P 500 index. Now, it's going to be worth it at 59.5. Okay, so here's some things to potentially think about or ask yourself, right? Just to consider if it's like the best decision for you. More than likely, they're matching 4% up to a certain cap of that. So I would ask that question, right? But another way to think about this is, if say that 15% on $100,000, or let's say it's $50,000, is $7,500, right? So you're considering $7,500 as your investment annually on a $50,000 salary or income. Another way to think about that is, you're giving me $7,500 a year to give you maybe 7 to 8%, 9% annually for you to not touch your money. You're 20 years old, to not touch your money for 40 years. Let me ask you this. Do you want to give Sam $7,500 for 40 years before you're allowed to touch your money? Do you think that's a good idea? I personally don't. I don't think that's a good idea. I think
you're right.
I think you can get much, 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 much higher returns by investing in crypto. Like, you're going to wait 40 years.
Especially right now. Like, if, let's say, all bias was gone and we knew everything at the top, like, the conversation would be different. But right now we're in a time of turmoil in every market. And the S&P is not going to do a 10x.
And so, okay, so maybe
I hate to say that because it depends what you want too. Like, are you like super successful? Do you know you're going to be? Some people know they're going to be successful and they're just excited for the journey, right? So the way you think about money also has to do with, like, me. Like, I have low overhead, right? I don't like having too many bills, and I don't like people telling me what the fuck to do. That's my floor. That's the floor, right? Some people's floor is like, I want a nice house and my girl needs a kid soon now, right? Like Lane, I know 19-year-olds that are married or whatever, maybe have a kid, and who knows? But I don't think you're going to make money from that. And if you're looking to make money, so if that's what you're looking for, there's a difference between a dude with $1 billion trying to store his money versus somebody who's trying to make money. And storing money is what these things are for now, if at all anything.
And so one of the narratives that is put forth about a 401k is that you're using gross money, meaning before taxes, to invest. So they're like, oh, there's a tax benefit to this, right? So you can easily go through and take your $7,500 and buy a piece of real estate, which doesn't give me control of your money for 40 years and gives you even better tax benefits and generates income today. So I'm not a fan of a 401k. A 401k, an IRA, is a tool to help Wall Street and help the people who manage your money, right? If I get $7,500 from you and 10,000 other people, like they're getting 7% or 8% or 9%, right? Who's really getting the big bag? I'll do that for you, bro. I'll guarantee you 7% for the next 40 years on the money you invest, because I'll make a fuckload off of the money you invest, right? So if you have the confidence,
what's the interest rate right now? Like fucking crazy,
right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
If you have the confidence, the hierarchy I think about for investing, you invest in yourself. You're the number one person who's going to show up for yourself for the rest of your life. So investing in yourself, number one. Number two is my business. And if you don't have a business, then maybe you skip that, or maybe you create a business, right? If you're working a W-2 job and you create a business, you can make more income just by the tax savings. DM me on Instagram if you don't know how to do that.
Modify the problem.
Number three is investing into other assets that are going to grow in value and or pay you today and grow in value, right? Whether that's crypto or real estate.
Just solutions in code to you.
Sorry.
You're good.
Lane, you're the GOAT. Sorry, I was looking at something. We got to wrap up here in a minute. You're going to get a lot of comments. That was a good segment, good way to end it. There's a clip from our show yesterday that popped up. You know, Jack, the cool thing about Jack is Jack has a bunch of people that work for him, right? So when DRC doesn't. So when I do any content, Jack posts like all the amazing parts on his channel, which is the best. It's the best. It's the best because then I can just go over there and I can check out his channel. So let's go to his last upload from last night. And it's called, "Is Jack a FBI vampire agent?" And we all know the answer to that is 100% correct. Yes. But let's dive into it just a little more, and then we'll close out on this, and I'll play the Crypto in the Morning song. Sam, we went live yesterday. Let's see what the comments said. Anyone in the comments have a timestamp for me? Damn it.
Well, I mean, there's two things. There's Richard.
All right, I clicked the wrong part, but let's go to this real quick. Hold on, just give me 1 second, Sam. And I want to do this again really soon, Sam, and I want you to come on. We talked about ChatGPT, Shadow Math Genius. All right, so this part's labeled Shadow Math Genius. Someone in the comments. I just want to show people this yesterday because I think this was a really good video, and I think you should go back and watch it. I'm only going to play a minute or two of it. This was me, Buck from Famous and Fiat, and Jack from yesterday. We did a long live stream, and it got real, all the way real, and we like that over here. So let's play just a clip from it and see. This is whatever the fans tagged on it.
What if I told you? What if I told you that Zen isn't dumping?
Yeah, no, I get you can mint it for free and sell it to somebody. Yeah.
Not even that. What you're looking at are the shadows on the wall. But the true nature of Zen is that it's getting more valuable every day as more and more humans connecting to Zen.
Yeah, I get that part, and that's why the first thing I asked you about was I thought your strategy is interesting of going on all the different chains for that exact purpose.
So 2 months ago, Zen did not exist, and 2 months later, 1 million humans came to the web app and executed 85 million actions on that web page. Now that was from 0 to 1 million in that short amount of time. Now, we're obviously not looking at the chart here, but I'm looking at the charts that matter at the adoption.
And when I'm looking at the chart, I'm looking at volume, amount of transactions, and liquidity. And the numbers are just off the charts.
That's a good clip.
Hey, the fans pick, they put the little timestamps in at the bottom. They put a little, so guys, when you put a timestamp in and say your favorite part, I will play it on the show because generally I can't go back for 2 hours generally right after the show and figure it out until I get someone to do it for me, which will be really soon. But yeah, it's a great clip. It was we did that over and over on many different topics. We walked through, and it was really good. If you like that kind of sauce, I will we'll tag it here. But Sam, any closing words?
No, I talked to you a little bit afterwards about the clips because I might be paying. I am paying somebody, and I'm probably going to start doing it for here. There's probably going to be more so tailored to like clips of me saying things, but they're also going to be clips with you saying them, and I can just share them with you if you want to use any of them. If I can go to the fuck out.
I'll share any clip you do to all my social media. It's just if you put it in the Telegram, it's going to get shot out by me. And I will talk to you about that, guys. Just one more on that so we can share this out. Jack posted 13 hours ago, the reason why Elon Musk is the richest person in the world is because he doesn't measure his success with money. And then there's a clip he was probably saying that at the time, this timestamp. So if you like Jack and you like that sauce, give it a retweet, tag GRC, tag Sam, tag the show. Make sure you go to our social medias, hit the like button, and we will see you tomorrow. I might see you later today. You know how DRC rolls. But the one thing I have to say before we go is, Sam, you already know what time it is.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning.